My name is Desiree, or avocado_circles, and welcome. Today I'm talking about the rest of my main characters and my new story idea I've been brewing for a little bit. If you're here from my last video, you know that the story is called Club Envy, and it is literally invading my bones. I made it because I wanted to make a more mature version of Ouran High School Host Club and explore topics that I personally find interesting, like manipulation, misogyny, obviously romance, but mainly how difficult it is as adults to maintain friendships and relationships with each other. I don't have a whole lot of plot figured out yet, but I do know quite a bit about my silly boys, so I'll get started actually talking about them. The characters that I'm drawing first in this particular speed paint is Odrian and Calix, two boys who have been friends since middle school after Callie saved Odrian's life. Odrian is from a family of huge influence, his parents and late older sister being governmental figures. His family expected him to be a governmental figure as well, pushing him to take classes in law and even preemptively paid for him to attend law school. However, when his sister was killed, they pressured him to change his name and distance himself from them. He partially obliged, dropping his last name, and hasn't really spoken to them since. He attended private school name, very, very thought out, I know, from elementary all the way to high school, only befriending Callie in middle school and therefore most of the other boys. He lives in a bit of fear that he or his parents will be the next victim of a political attack, but Callie helps him through those anxieties and promises to protect him the best he can. Now, Odrian is the royal advisor of Club Envy, helping plan events to make them fun and completely legal. I thought it would be kind of funny for him to plan the club's events in a way, despite being so quiet and in the background for the most part. Since Odrian has such a big background in law, they workshop ideas to make sure everything they're doing is perfectly legal in the club. He sees the women attending the club as others somewhat. He doesn't know them on a personal level, so he cannot become attached to them or see them as anything but just a woman. He feels similarly about men too, but not quite to the same extent. Moving on to Calix, or Callie. His parents are business giants in an industry that I don't quite know yet. Forgive me. He also attended private school name from elementary all the way until high school, training to be a professional fighter throughout his entire schooling career. However, he kind of decided that it wasn't for him, it wasn't his type of life, so he ultimately stopped doing that and disappointed his entire family in the process. He chooses not to think about it, and therefore to not care. He wants to only dedicate himself to his friends, especially with what happened to Odrian. Now, Calix is the knight of Club Envy, proudly showing off his skills in fighting and his strength to impress the ladies. He is also dubbed as the innocent one, often playing up the fact that he isn't quick to pick up jokes that are more adult in nature. He is often found hosting alongside Odrian. He used to be the sole creative bone in the club before Kaito showed up, other than whatever outrageous suggestions Vega or the doppelgangers would recommend. He loves being the object of these women's affection, although that's kind of all he really sees them for. I very much love drawing them so much. I had this image beamed into my head of Callie using Odrian as a footrest and him just kind of chilling, and I don't know, I just had to draw it. And the way that Callie's sitting on a cushion because he's so short. They care about each other so much, it's literally insane. For this canvas, I had a whole lot of physical sketches that I wanted to use for my sketchbook that I'm almost done with. Once I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to do a sketchbook tour for everybody, so make sure that you like and subscribe so you get to see it. Anyway, at first I wanted to do a canvas per pairing of characters, but I also kind of didn't have enough inspiration to do that, so I combined Mirin and Ikah into Vega's and Chrys's canvas. I like how it turned out, and I think it helped me keep everyone cohesive and look like they're from the same universe, so that's nice. On this canvas, as I kind of literally just said, I drew Vega, Chrys, Mirin, and Ikah. Mirin and Ikah are down there in the bottom right corner. Yeah, right there. And they are doppelgangers. They are not siblings. They've literally done a DNA test to disprove this. They had to make sure. Anyway, Mirin's mother works with Vega's parents to expand their news empire, which I will talk about Vega after my little clones here. His family, well, Mirin's family more so deals with the televised portion of things rather than physical publishings. His mother is actually a news reporter herself who runs one of the more popular news channels. Mirin's father, on the other hand, runs an entirely separate business dealing with fashion distribution and manufacturing. You may sense a theme here in a second, but Mirin also attended private school name from elementary all the way until high school. He never knew a day where his parents weren't pushing for him to try and be his own person. He was always like a kind of shy kid who hardly ever spoke with anyone else, but in recent years he has truly blossomed into a charismatic and mischievous young man. This may be in part due to meeting all his friends and fellow hosts, but Ikah definitely had the biggest influence on him. Now, Mirin is one of 2 jesters at Club Envy, tasked with pulling harmless pranks on the other hosts to amuse their guests. He loves his job, and always loves to see the amusement of the girls. He loves knowing that he occupies a space in their heads, especially because, for the most part, it isn't reciprocated at all on his end. He sees these women as playthings, and he literally gets paid to mess around. Now, Ikah, he was initially from a average family, but after his grandparents had a sudden boom in business, he was able to connect with the more rich crowd. He attended a public school in the East from elementary to middle school, then private school name in high school. Ikah had been training to fight since he was in elementary, taking a rather keen interest in it. His grandparents loved hearing about his adventures and tried to push him to become a professional fighter and attend Fireskate after he was done with his schooling. He thought about doing that for a long time, but ultimately loved his friends too much to be whisked away to the edge for a few months at a time, and decided that he's okay with not going to college. It took his caregivers a while, considering they're of a different generation, but they ultimately support his decision. Now, Ikah is the second of 2 jesters at Club Envy. He helps Mirin pull his silly pranks and loves his everyday life just as much, if not way more, than he did when he originally met his fellow hosts in high school. Vega's mother and father are extraordinarily influential figures in news coverage and media, as I kind of went over in Mirin's little blurb. They own one of the most trusted tabloids / physical news outlets there are, especially covering local news from Fireskate and other prestigious schools. Sometimes they reach into other areas as well as they expand their reach, such as specific individuals that are of particular interest or latest trends for magazines. He too attended private school name from elementary all the way to high school, but never decided to pursue college despite his parents' best efforts. They have expressed disappointment in their previously only child, however have moved on to training up his younger brother that's nearly 20 years younger than him to do what they wanted Vega to do. He didn't even know he had a brother until recently. Now Vega is the king of Club Envy and the glue that keeps everyone together. He is a selfless man who wishes to make every woman he encounters the happiest she's ever been. He has done more than anybody could ever ask for, and that in and of itself makes him very endearing. While he can sometimes be overbearing or overly excitable, his fellow hosts know that he wouldn't and couldn't be the king of their club without it. Vega tends to get the most guests, although he doesn't usually do one-on-one sessions with anyone without needing a grandiose sum of funds. Vega sees these women as easy to please, but fragile. Finally, the non-binary woman of the group. This is what we've all been waiting for, yeah! Chrys, or Christine, when they're feeling especially feminine and very trusting of who they're talking to, lived with their mother and father in the beginning of their life. Chrys attended Northern Poor School, I'm so creative with these school names, in elementary and middle school, then moved to the rich part of town alone after being granted a scholarship for the private school name. Unfortunately, her parents couldn't afford to move with her so she could pursue higher education. They knew that she would do a wonderful job, though, and told her to never let anyone hold her back. She graduated top of class, yay, but ended up declining other opportunities from other schools as she knew she couldn't afford their tuition. They already have to pay off some tuition from even high school. It wasn't until Firesgate offered them a full ride to attend their school that they accepted, and finally had this realization that they could actually pursue their goals and studies. Do I know what they study yet? No. But once I do, I'll tell you guys. Now, Chrys is the Duke of Club Envy. They can often be seen hosting directly with Vega, although they just as often will host on their own. She loves flirting and talking to these women, despite the ambiguity of them seeing her as a man most of the time, if not all the time. She refused to be in a woman-led host club because she didn't want to flirt with men, though, so this was kind of like the better of two evils. Not only that, but there's just something about this specific host club that they couldn't pass up. They see women as fellow humans, like literally everyone should. Cough, cough. She finds it hard to believe the hidden misogyny from most of the men she works with, but she also sees, or maybe forces herself to believe, that they're all trying to change. Alrighty, I think that about does it. Thank you guys so much for watching my video about my silly OCs again. I have told you almost literally every single thing I know about these characters. So, yeah, I am so glad that you're here with me on my journey of figuring everything out about them. Please like and subscribe if you like the video, and comment what your thoughts are on the formatting of this video. I'm trying to make it a little more structured than in the past. Oh, and I also have a few links in the description that you could check out if you wanted. And, yeah. Bye.